Hello, in this video we're going to look at experiment 13 from the BrightSparks Edu Mini Wind Turbine Teach Guide. We've already set up our wind turbine in experiment 12 and we know our distance from our turbine with our wind source to give us a maximum voltage output. Now we're going to incorporate our capacitor, and our capacitor is a means of how we can store our energy. You can see here that our capacitor has a red positive terminal and a black negative terminal, and you can see here our circuit symbol for our capacitor there. If you look at the capacitor body, you can see down one side there are negative symbols, and you can see that our capacitor has already been mounted correctly so that the negative side of our capacitor goes towards our negative terminal. And when you're using a capacitor, it's vitally important that you connect it the right way round. The polarity of the capacitor has to be correct, otherwise you can seriously damage your capacitor. If you look as well on the side of the body, you'll see some writing. So if I bring that closer, you can see underneath my finger there that there are some digits writing on our capacitor. And it says that our capacitor is rated at 5.5 volts and 1 farad. So when we're using our capacitor in this experiment, we need to make sure that we don't go above 5.5 volts. So let's get our capacitor connected to our turbine. So we're going to disconnect our leads from our multimeter, and we're going to connect a lead from our turbine, the black lead from our turbine, to the black negative terminal on our capacitor. And we're going to connect the red lead from our turbine to the red positive terminal on our capacitor here. So we're going to need another couple of leads, and what we're going to do, we're going to put our multimeter, because we're measuring in volts, we're going to put our multimeter in parallel to our capacitor. So we're putting black lead into the black terminal, and we're connecting that to the COM socket on our multimeter. Next we're going to connect the red lead to the red terminal, like so, and we're going to connect the lead to the socket marked volts and milliamps. There we go. We're going to set our multimeter at the 20 volts DC setting. So that's the same setting that we've been using for the previous experiments. We can also use our backlight so that it makes it easier for us to see. So I'm going to now put on my safety glasses. We're not going to move our hairdryer or the fan if you're using that. We've fixed it so that we know that we've got our maximum output. So now the idea is that we're going to charge our capacitor. So we evaluate our situation again. We make sure that the propeller is still fixed securely, that there's nothing around it that can interfere with it or get tangled up in it. We've got our safety glasses on, and now we can start our experiment. To give the propeller a little help. Now what you should notice is that this time the voltage is slowly rising. So have a think about why that is. You carry out your experiment until your capacitor is fully charged.